Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Senator Scott.
Thank you, Chairman. Thanks for being here. How much do you think we've spent in foreign aid in Central and South America in the last 10 years? Do you guys have any idea?
In totality, I'll just take a stab in the dark. Maybe 20 billion. I think 2.2 billion was authorized for fiscal year 2025.
Okay. Do you think that's what the number is?
I don't have the numbers, Senator. Apologies.
Okay. So, so let's say it's $20 billion. So if I went to the taxpayers back in my state and said, this is what you got for $20 billion, what would you say we got? What would a Florida taxpayer say we got out of that $20 billion expenditures?
You might have
If I had to guess, I would say that they would probably say not enough.
Yeah. What would be something concrete that we could say that we got out of the, if I went back to talk to taxpayers and they'd say, so with that $20 billion, this is what we got.
We fund law enforcement measures in Mexico. Now, given they're not as productive as we would like them to be, we've given millions recently to support the multilateral security support mission in Haiti to prevent the collapse of the country. So in terms of the security measures, we do support anti-narcotic efforts.
What would you say that if I have to go back to a taxpayer and tell them I got a return somehow, what would you say I got?
I mean, obviously, some of these taxpayers may be looking for, immediate solutions to the problems that they are witnessing and encountering. The challenge is that a lot of this is medium to long term in nature, right? It's an effort to work over time with our partners to address issues that are enormously complex and require multifaceted solutions. That is hard to explain to a taxpayer, but I mean, truly, across the board, it's health, it's education, it's addressing the root causes of migration to, over time, reduce overall flows of irregular migration to the United States. It's addressing insecurity, it's building ties, it's building trust, it's building...
Let's go through that for a second. So I went back to Florida and say, I just spent $20 billion of your money, and we prevented drugs from coming in. They say, wait a minute. 78,000 people died of fentanyl last year. They'd say, you haven't been very successful. They'd say, we are worried about crime in our country, and you're paying for police in another country when we don't have enough police on the streets in our country. And in 2023, something like 1 out of every 43 Americans was subject to a violent crime. They'd say, we've got, you spend money, you say, on health care. They say, we have people in our country that don't have enough health. I mean, our food, all these things. I mean, I've been up here 6 years. This is the busiest time since I've been up here. Everybody in my office is asking for money, and here's what my pitch to them. I said, I just went through a campaign. There's not one person, almost in every issue that people are talking about, they're worried about cutting spending, that one Floridian brought up that we got to make sure we do that. There's not one, my problem is I can't go back to Florida and say, boy, I'm excited about how much money we spent on foreign aid because I got something good happen. Let's see. Castro regime still controls Cuba. Venezuela just stole another election. Ortega's getting stronger in Nicaragua. Petro's a terrorist. Name it. Lula's trying to destroy Brazil. I don't know. Did we help Milei get elected? I don't think so. We got it. So I look at it and say, so short term, long term, 20 years, I can't see what we did in Latin America that we spent, if we spent $20 billion that we got a return. And that's what I have to do. I have to go home and say, here's how your tax dollars are going to get spent. What would you be your thinking how, if you think that way, if you like a citizen that thinks their taxes are too high, what do you say to them?
Again, I think, I mean, this is not there's not a country that doesn't struggle with this to some degree. I mean, these debates are ongoing everywhere, including in China, right? Where they say, what is this Belt and Road Initiative about? Stop spending our money on it and do something at home, right? This is the problem that many countries are experiencing. Nevertheless, most have conceded that foreign aid achieves wide-ranging objectives, strategic, security-related, health and safety related. I mean, really, you name it. And in terms of building our partnerships with the region, if we believe it, their strength in numbers, right? A lot of this is intangible. A lot of this is, again, medium to long term. And so it is very difficult to explain to an electorate. But, I think we need to determine whether we believe that this is the right course of action ourselves, right? And then make the effort to come up with narratives that do demonstrate the value over time of these commitments. And I'm sure I'm not particularly equipped to offer concrete, evidence at this particular moment, but I'm sure that the many institutions that do these things have, countless examples of the ways in which they've impacted the region positively and U.S. citizens positively, directly as a result. I wish I had something more concrete to offer in the way of messaging.
I hate to cut off this debate because this is a really, really important debate. Unfortunately, we're in the process of voting. They're going to call all of us down there in a minute. And Senator Curtis, I want to give you a shot at this, please.